Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. This is Recharging Chat. I'm Sharon Kimberly Cravens, and Dr. Luann Morado is here with us this evening. We're going to be discussing ViRadChem Binder. But before we do that, we have a disclaimer that these videos are meant to be educational and informational, and they're not to be used to diagnose, treat, or cure any one individual or any issue. So with that being said, we're going to carry on and help you understand a little bit more about ViRadChem. So this binder is Cellcore's most all-around binder. And why is it so special? What does it do? What makes it so effective? So Dr. Luann, take it away.
Well, ViRadChem, first of all, the name comes from viruses, radiation, and chemicals, to break it down. And it's composed of 1/3 biotoxin binder and 1/3 HMET binder. And what it does is it binds onto radioactive elements, different industrial and environmental chemicals, heavy metals, and it's great for supporting the detoxification of the chemicals that are responsible for creating the viruses themselves. And that's where the name came from, ViRadChem.
Makes sense. So what's cool about it is there's also support in there. It's antioxidant support that assists with the free radicals that are made by the radiation itself. So it has that lovely support in there. And then when we're looking at ViRadChem, there's different sized carbon chains. So that's different than the standard charcoal binder, which are spent. So those are spent long chain carbons. With Cellcore, they have small, medium, and large. That means that the long chain carbons are going to stay primarily in the digestive tract. And the small and medium chain carbons, they come from the extract of the fulvic acid. Those are going to be able to go systemic in the rest of the body, and they will actually cross the blood-brain barrier, which means...
Which is amazing.
Yes. Which means that it must be very small, right?
Yes, it is. That means it must be very small. How do you know how small it is?
How small? So they're nano-sized. So nano can raise some flags, but it's a natural origin. It's a plant-based origin. So these derivatives are natural for our bodies to consume. Nano means 10 to the -9th. So that is really tiny. So that way it can get into the cells, and it can also cross into the blood-brain barrier. So with that being said, the carbons not only help to bind onto the toxins, but they also help to restore the microbiome. So they protect the tissues, they repair, and they restore. It's amazing. The goal is really to provide nutrients to the microbiome and all the good bacteria that's in there, and Cellcore's products, they do that, which is fantastic. So these binders, they kind of consider them like a 2.0 binder, because it's not just about getting the energy to grab onto something and taking it out. It's actually going to grab onto something, repair what that toxin was inflaming, and then restore tissue-wise, which is a game changer.
Yeah, and like you mentioned before, the spent versus the unspent carbons. The spent carbons, like you said, there's no energy. It's already used up. So the way I think about this is I think about if you have some firewood and that's carbon and it has life, right? It has carbon, you light it on fire, you build a campfire, and you have carbon, you have hydrogen, you have oxygen, it's burning. Then when that's dead, what's left is that charcoal, and it is spent. So you can't use that in the body to add life to the body. Unlike our binders, which are filled with this carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So, adding that to the extracts of fulvic and humic acid makes them very unique. And so ViRadChem is unspent, and it has a lot of energy to go into the cell, get into the next cell, and then it's able to come out of the body. It binds to it, and the bind is so strong, it pulls it all the way out of the body. So when you think about what it's composed of, Sharon, that high energy carbon and hydrogen and oxygen, that's what our bodies are composed to, as that's what we're made of. So it has the ability to go in there and repair our tissues, and it gives our body the building blocks of what it needs to repair. So it's not just binding like a lot of charcoals on the market.
Yeah, exactly. And the main ingredient really is the carbon technology itself. So that's the extracts of the fulvic and the humic acids. That includes the polysaccharides and the polyelectrolytes of the fulvic acid, the dibasic acid of fulvic acid, and then basically different blends of carbon are what is in this product. There's also a lot of supporting ingredients, and we'll pull that up. And those assist with the inflammation that's caused. So that's what's happening in the body. As you're pulling out the toxins and clearing, this will offset the oxidative stress that's caused by the toxins, heavy metals, etc. So this means that because of that, ViRadChem is very well tolerated. Other ingredients that are in there that are kind of fun is broccoli sprout, and that is an extract that is unique to Cellcore. It has high amounts of sulforaphane, which helps with the NRF2 pathway, and that helps to bring oxidative stress down. The NRF2 pathway controls the enzymes that control the ROS system within the mitochondria. And in sort of layman's terms, that is a reactive oxygen species system. You could go into that if you'd like, Dr. Luann, but it's basically enzymes that control something that's really important within the powerhouse of the cell. And again, removing free radicals due to oxidative stress caused by the toxins. That's what this is handling, which is beautiful.
Yeah, can you tell us about any other ingredients that are in the ViRadChem that's different from, the biotoxin binder and the HMAT binder?
Sure. Other ingredients that help support that NRF2 pathway are artichoke leaf. There's bilberry fruit extract, blueberry extract, pomegranate extract, olive leaf extract, bromelain, acai extract, L-citrulline, and wheatgrass extract, which is gluten-free. Also, there is a zeolite clinoptilite that is micronized, is in there as well, and astaxanthin, which is a great antioxidant. And actually, interestingly enough, it's a fun fact, it is the thing that is responsible for turning flamingos their beautiful pink signature color. Because when they're born, they're white, but then they start to eat fish, and that has the astaxanthin inside of it, and then it turns them this beautiful shade of pink. So that's pretty cool. That is in ViRadChem.
That would be a great trivia question.
Totally.
So a lot of people who they think wheatgrass and kind of freaks them out. They're like, oh, I'm allergic to wheat or gluten. And so there's people who have actually bought these cheap, or rather inexpensive gluten testers, like $200 gluten testers. And they're like, oh my God, there's gluten in the ViRadChem. But it's not true. The very inexpensive, cheap testing devices are not very accurate, and they don't compare to the machinery that Cellcore has, which range into, up to $600,000 lab testing devices for this. The proteins that do come up are proteins that are found in the fulvic acid. And a good example is this, that they had a woman test positive for pregnancy, and it was just the fulvic acids that really did the trick. So there's so many different enzymes and proteins in there that it can trigger a positive result. So wheatgrass is just a grass. It's not a seed or a berry, so there's no gluten in it at all. And the point is that these carbons can adapt and they can trigger things, and most other products won't do this. The technology in the carbon technology is a game changer as far as binders. It can mimic, or it can be transformed into proteins that our body needs, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think I'd trust Cellcore's testing abilities rather than some like home test, right?
Yeah, Amazon.com.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about dosing a little bit while I share my screen and just show a little bit about ViRadChem off the website. So what's the standard dosing, and what's considered aggressive? You know, what's good for kids?
Oh, well, typically 2 capsules twice daily, with or without food, which is the big difference with these 2.0 binders, is you can take them with or without food, which is amazing. And you're not going to bind onto anything in your food that's not good for you, but they're selective. So they'll bind onto according to what toxins are in the food, and they'll pull it out. And which is really great. So this is a must when you go out to eat.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice, Sharon, when you're out to eat somewhere and you eat something and you ever feel like your brain shutting down?
Yeah, like later when I get home, it's like either there's some kind of reaction elsewhere, or my brain's like, I'm now so tired.
Yeah, and I've experienced it sometimes when I could be sitting there and eat it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I've just been drugged, but it's the toxins that are in the food that are affecting us. So if you take a capsule of this and you put it in water and you drink it immediately, those carbons are going to quickly neutralize those harmful items that are in our food. And, we have no idea what is in our food today, or what they're cooking our food in, and also what's being put inside of it. So these capsules are super important to take with you when you go out to restaurants. But back to the dosing, I know that's what you asked about. If you're sensitive, you might want to just do 1 capsule twice a day instead of the standard dosing of 2. And if you want to do an aggressive dosing, you can do 4 capsules twice daily, but there's no need to take more of this product. But it is very essential to take them in water, at least one of them. So at least open one of your capsules, dump it in water, and it really helps to allow for the system to be detoxified from the mouth, down the throat, all the way down. And instead of just eating the capsule and waiting for the capsule to be dissolved in the stomach.
Yeah, and it also distilled water, preferably, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the caveat with all of this, is distilled. And so ViRadChem covalently binds toxins. So that is the strongest type of bond chemically versus an ionic bond. And the half-life is 12 to 18 hours as far as detoxification. But it cannot be stressed enough how important it is to take with you when you're eating out at a restaurant. So even if it's considered safe, like these days, it does not matter. So, I mean, it's a godsend. And just take 2 capsules with you, have it with you, get a little shot glass of water, empty one in there so you get it immediately, mucous membranes of your mouth, esophageal lining, you're good to go. You can also make a nice paste out of ViRadChem for spider bites that will help pull the toxins out. You can also add a little bit of distilled water to it to make it like a paste instead of just putting it on powder wise. You can just make it a little thick. It goes with anything ViRadChem does. It's a great binder, and just you want to keep it away from para 1. So that's within an hour. So if you take your ViRadChem, wait an hour, and then you're good to go. As well as with any of the binders, that's the caveat for para 1. You can take this product for an extended period of time. There's no limit. You don't have to cycle. Like, well, with a lot of other binders, they're cycling because they're taxing on the kidneys and the liver. It's just harder on your body in general. People have been on ViRadChem for almost over 10 years who are employed at Cellcore. So, and they've had no issues, and it's been extremely beneficial to the body. So that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and when you stay on them and you keep taking them, they will keep replenishing your body and help your innards heal as you go through life, which is just, it's just a great, remarkable product. One of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. So how about some testimonials for ViRadChem?
Oh, yes. There's a woman who had celiac, and she started taking ViRadChem, and she had a lot of very great improvements, major improvements, and in all of her symptoms. Which is a lot because celiac is very hard to deal with.
That was in the first week of taking it too.
Yeah, that's right.
Immediate assistance.
Yeah, the other thing is they help if you feel like you're coming down with something, they're really good to just pull out a ViRadChem, take it immediately, and it helps to wipe out any type of viral replication or infection type feelings. So really good to keep on hand for the entire family, really.
Yeah, once you get that sort of nagging feeling, just get it in your body. So we're really excited to have you using this ultra powerful foundational binder and layering it into your lives. So our next call will be on April 12th, and we're going to be discussing the next binder, which is HMET binder. And we look forward to sharing that with you. And everyone, have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.